Thank you for joining us here on Focus on Natural Health Education and Community Development, Inc. I'm going to share some information with you on behalf of beverages and water, WATER, better known as H2O. But I'm going to share a lot of information with you on behalf of caffeine. So buckle up, we're going for a ride, okay? And don't get offended when I share this information with you. I too used to be heavy on the caffeine. Coffee? No. But that chocolate, oh yeah. Love it. But I'm slowly but surely weaning myself off of it. And one of these days, I'm going to share with you on the show how to use chocolate or cocoa substitute in the form of carob. That's CAROB. And I'm going to make some desserts for you and other things that I'll be doing using carob instead of chocolate or cocoa, because that chocolate, which is a form of caffeine, it is bad on all of our health, okay? Now, caffeinated beverages. Caffeine is an alkaloid found in coffee, tea, chocolate, and carnarian. Americans are hooked on caffeine. 90%, I thought that was a very high percentage, 90% consume it in one form or another every single day. Over half consume more than 300 milligrams of caffeine every day. That's a very large percentage. It is our nation's most popular drug. I didn't write this book, but I believe on behalf of what's in here. It is our nation's most popular drug. Yes, caffeine is. I know some of you was not aware of the fact that when it comes to caffeine, that it's a drug. It is. I'm going to share that information with you farther down the line in this show. It is in coffee, tea, chocolate, and a variety of other things. Caffeine is an addictive drug. It operates on the brain using the same mechanism as amphetamines, cocaine, and heroin to stimulate the brain. Although it is milder than the others, it is manipulating the same channels. This is one of the reasons it is addictive. Get hooked on it. And I'm going to throw this in before I go any further. If you notice that your average child, after they've eaten chocolate, they have a tendency to get kind of loose and wild. There are two reasons for that. The caffeine that's in the chocolate as well as the sugar. It hypes them up, just like LSD. It hypes them up, but then bam, drops them right back down. So that's one of the reasons that we should not consume caffeine in the form of chocolate or any other form. And so if you think that you cannot function every day with it, you must consume it every day. You are addicted to caffeine. If you think that you cannot function without caffeine every day, and you think that you gotta have it, you are addicted to it, okay? That's bad. Now, I'm not going to tell you where I used to work at, because I don't want nobody to know the person that I'm referring to. But years ago, I was working at this particular job, or on this particular job, and my former supervisor, if he hear this, he's going to know I'm talking about him. Good man. My former supervisor, when he would come to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, the first thing he would do, run and get that cup of coffee. He'd sit there and take a big swallow, then, now I can work. I thought it was so funny. I said, don't you know that stuff is bad on your health? Yeah, gotta have it, gotta have it. Gotta have it, Deb, gotta have it. And that was an everyday thing for him. Okay? Being addicted to caffeine. Okay. Caffeine is trimethylene xanthine. Its chemical formula is C8H10N4 and O2. When isolated in pure form, caffeine is a white crystalline powder that tastes very bitter. Physicians use it as a cardiac stimulant and also a mild diuretic because it increases the flow of urine. But regular folks take it for the apparent boost of energy or feeling of heightened alertness it gives. It is often used to help people stay awake longer. And confession is good for the soul. When I was a student at Jackson State University years ago, that's been years ago, that's what I would do. Because I was working on campus, I was working off campus, that's 2 jobs, and I was doing my utmost best to maintain my A average. So I was like, okay, I got to stay awake in order to study at night, you know, cramming for the test for the next day and that sort of thing. And I would drink coffee. I really didn't like the taste of coffee, but I would drink the coffee in order to stay awake, okay? So I can easily relate to this particular information concerning this, okay? Obviously, what is happening is that the body is tired and need rest, but instead it is whipped into action. Beating a horse always hurt it. The body repeatedly pushed into greater activity when it wants to stop for rest is gradually damaged. Now I have to admit, during that time period of my life, I didn't know any better. I really didn't. But now that I know better, I do my utmost best to do better. And some of you don't know any better, so that's why I'm trying to share this information with you so that you would know better and you would do better as well, okay? I love you. Instead of recovering, organs usually gradually weakens. Eventually, the weakest one become diseased. And then the person wonder, why has this happened to them? Caffeine occurs naturally in many plants, including coffee beans, tea leaves, and cocoa nut. Because of this, it is found in a wide variety of food products. In addition, caffeine is added to many other foods, including beverages. And on that note, we are going to take a break. But look, don't turn that channel and don't turn your TV off because you need, some of you need this information on behalf of caffeine and other types of beverages that is harmful to our health. We're going to take a break. Thank you for watching us here on Focus on Natural Health Education. And prior to going to the break, I was sharing information with you on behalf of caffeine, the harmful effect of caffeine. And I'm going to resume. So relax, okay? Caffeine is a stimulant that causes heart rate and respiration to increase. It is also a diuretic. It also has a diuretic effect and delays fatigue. 1 cup instant coffee equals to 90 to 150 milligram caffeine. 1 cup of brewed tea equals to 30 to 70 milligram of caffeine. Caffeine has been implicated in the development of osteoporosis. So some of you are perhaps wondering, how did you end up developing osteoporosis? You might be drinking too much caffeine. And it might come in the form of coffee, tea, or even sodas, or other types of foods or drinks. The Journal of the American Medical Association reported significant association between caffeinated coffee and decreasing bone mineral density in women. Now, except when a woman reported drinking at least 1 glass of milk per day, and that does have a tendency to help. Now, when it comes to milk, once again, I do not consume cow's milk because I know it's bad on our health. And with me, I can't drink it anyway because I vomit. But I do drink soy milk. I drink almond milk as well. And you know that when it comes to almond, the almond nut is the most potent nut that we can eat. So almond milk is real good for our bodies. Caffeine has been found to inhibit the activity of some anti-epileptic drugs. It is possible to overdose on caffeine. Let me say that again, and I didn't know this. It is possible to overdose on caffeine. It is estimated that it would take 50 to 100 cups to result in death. But my goodness, who wants to drink 50 to 100 cups of coffee? But I guess a coffeeholic would. This, it didn't say as to whether they're talking about it all at one time, but hey, stuff accumulated could happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to chance it.
Yeah, me either.
But however, so this figure was arrived by employing the LD50 test. Now, here is a dangerous menu to think about. Coffee. Typical drip brewed coffee contains 100 milligrams, which is per 6-ounce cup. Whether you are buying it at Starbucks or at a store, drinking it at home or at your office, out of a mug or a commuter's cup, you are consuming it in one of the 3 sizes. 12 ounce equals to 200 milligrams. 14 ounces equals to 234 milligrams, or 20 ounces, and that equals to 334 milligrams. That is a lot of caffeine. Don't you agree? Now, let's deal with this tea. Typical brewed tea contains 70 milligrams in each 6-ounce cup. 6-ounce cup of tea equals to 70 milligrams. Cola drinks. I'm not going to call the names of these different kinds of drinks. I'm not going to share that. I won't get in trouble with nobody. But cola drinks, for instance, contain 50 milligrams for every 12 ounce, and another kind, 70 milligrams for every 12 ounce. Chocolate. Typical milk chocolate contains 6 milligrams per ounce. drugs. And I know a lot of you said, I don't take drugs, but hey, a lot of the over-the-counter drugs, such as Anacin. Your Anacin contains 32 milligrams per tablet. No-dose contains 100 milligrams per tablet. And Dexatrin contains 200 milligrams per tablet. Very high numbers. Now it says to sit down and calculate how much you are taking each day, and you might be surprised. Many people consume a gram, which is 1,000. 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams or more every single day without realizing it. Just what does caffeine do when it gets into the body? As your body becomes fatigued, in other words, tired, adenosine is made in the brain and binds to adenosine receptors. This causes drowsiness by slowing the nerve cell activity. You want to stop and rest. You want to go to sleep. This is good, for you need the rest. In the brain, the adenosine also causes blood vessels to dilate, so more oxygen can reach the brain during sleep. But when caffeine is taken into the stomach, it travels quickly to the brain. Once there, it does what adenosine normally does. It binds to the adenosine nerve receptors. But instead of slowing cellular activity, it speeds it up instead. The cell can no longer bind the adenosine because caffeine is linked up with all its available receptors. The cell began accelerating its activity because adenosine is shut out. In other words, it's blocked out. The brain's blood vessel began to constrict. In other words, it narrows, okay? So what needs to go inside, it's not going inside. And on that note, she's giving me a wrap up. We're going to take a break. Hold on, we'll be right back. Thank you for joining us here on Focus on Natural Health Education and Community Development, Inc. Prior to going to the break, I was sharing with you information concerning caffeine, the harmful effect of caffeine, and how caffeine comes in different forms, such as chocolate, that most of us love, whether we eat it or not, still tastes good, tea, and of course coffee. And then there are a lot of drugs out there that has caffeine in it, over-the-counter drugs. Now, it says that the increased neuron firing in the brain awaken the pituitary gland to action. Some kind of emergency must be taking place. So the pituitary signal the adrenaline gland to produce adrenaline, which is epinephrine, the fight or flight hormone. Perhaps you wonder, some people, they're not stable. I mean, every time you turn around, they ripping, they running. You're never stable. Sit down. Get a grip of yourself, But it might be that they got too much caffeine in their body, okay? Fight. A flight. Fight. Are they ripping and running? Unstable. Won't sit still. The longer-term effect of using caffeine tend to spiral down. Once the adrenaline wears off, you face even greater fatigue and also depression. More caffeine is taken, And soon the body is jumping into emergency levels all day long. You become jumpy and irritable. And you know what? I know two different individuals who I met years ago. The first one was a gentleman, and then the other was a female. Very nice people, family people, married and had a lovely family. I met them before they got on this particular, I cannot think of the name of the weight loss drug that they were using. I can't think of the name of it, but it was out there, and people were losing weight. I mean, like that. And both this male and this female, both of them, they didn't even know each other, but both of them lost weight. They lost weight real good. But I noticed one thing about both of them. They were extremely irritable when it came to their children. And I met both of these individuals well before they got on that medication to lose weight. And I knew the good side of them, you know what I mean? So passionate, so caring, so in control. But I noticed after they got on this particular weight loss medication, they lost the medication, but a little bit more, they would have lost their mind because they would have lost their family. And the lady, she told me that she was on. I said, "Oh, girl, you know you're losing so much weight." I said, "You look good, you know." And she told me about the medication that she was on, and you know that's how she was losing the weight. But ooh, she lost the weight. She looked good, but my goodness, you were losing your family because she was so short patient with them. And the Lord impressed it upon me that's what, after I saw the effect that it had on both of them, I came to the conclusion, well, God showed me that's what was going on with both of them. The medication, even though it helped them to lose weight, and you know, the average one of us, when losing weight, we're going to start looking much better. And both of them did, especially the female. But so irritable, so short patient when it came to their kids. It really bothered me, you know. But you know, sometimes you can't talk to people about those type of things because they, you know, jumping on you. But anyway, you know, they were such lovely people. So what I did do, I took it to God in secret prayer, you know. I didn't tell them I'm going to be praying for you, but you know, nonetheless I did, you know. And I didn't see them, you know, past that time period now. But I think, and that's been years ago. But when I was reading this information, I immediately it came to my mind on behalf of both of those individuals. And you know, like I made mention earlier about the dextrin, how it helps you to lose weight and that sort of thing. But what it didn't say about losing weight, but we know that dextrin is supposed to help you to lose weight. But the caffeine that's in there is not worth it. It's not worth it if it's going to cause harmful effect on your body that could cause cancer. Worse than that, can even cause death. It's not worth it. You know, well, I have plenty of information that I can share with you on behalf of how to lose weight. You know, the natural God-given way, you know. Okay, let me resume on the information here concerning caffeine and the harmful effects. Okay, because the half-life of caffeine is only 6 hours, by the time you go to bed, you cannot get to sleep, or you will not obtain the deep sleep that you need. If the last cup of coffee was taken at 3 p.m., by 9 p.m., you will still have 100 milligrams in your body. So 6 hours later, you still have 100 milligrams of the caffeine in your body. That's bad. So the next morning, you feel worse and you need caffeine to get you out of bed. Woo! I mean, that's a controlled substance, whether we want to admit it or not. That is a controlled substance. So think about it. Do you really want to put those chemicals, those drugs into your body that's really controlling your thinking? Come on, think about it. You are better than that. You have started another day beating the horse This is why 90% of Americans consume caffeine every day. 90% of Americans consume caffeine every day. That's a large percentage of people. But if you try to stop, you will get terrible splitting headaches as the blood vessels in the brain dilate. So then you go back to the caffeine. It's, of course, is an addictive nature. Scientists' studies show that drinking more than 2 cups of coffee a day cuts your remaining amount of life on an average by 1 year. That's something. We have, 365 days a year, right? Is that right, Lady Walker? 365 days in a year times 2, which is going to be a little less than 800 cups of coffee a year. But less than 800 cups of coffee a year will cut your lifespan by a whole year. What that amounts to is the fact that you are killing yourself by drinking all of that caffeine. Now, on that note, we are going to take our final break. We have 1.5 minutes left. This is my conclusion on behalf of caffeine. Most people are aware of the ill effect of drinking coffee, but it contains caffeine because it contains caffeine. Actually, coffee is a narcotic narcotic beverage. The caffeine in the coffee belongs to the same alkaloid group of chemicals as morphine, cocaine, and strychnine. You know, strychnine, they put that in rat poison. Hello? They put that in rat poison. So when you drink that caffeine, you are drinking a form of rat poison. You're killing yourself. I love you, but I got to tell you. It is no surprise then why people have such a difficult time at first letting go of coffee and replacing it with healthier beverages such as water. What's wrong with apple juice, orange juice, grape juice? And what's wrong with water? God gave us this to begin with, so drink plenty. Drink plenty. It helps to flush our kidneys out. On that note, that's it. Bye-bye.